Please listen carefully.
All right, we're rolling.
Now, is this thing on? Hello? Meh.
It is on.
It's one of those days.
Why are you in such a weird
I
mood
don't
today?
know. It's like the weather.
Is it me?
Probably.
Oh my
But I was trying to
goodness.
blame it on the weather.
Thanks a lot.
I don't know. It's just one of those. I don't know. It's shitty out. It's cold. It's raining. It's half dark already.
Do you already, what is it, seasonal depression?
I guess so.
Do you have seasonal depression?
Yeah.
I mean,
Plus, we're both getting over being sick.
oh, you poor baby. I was the more sicker one.
Oh, it's a competition.
Yeah.
Okay, you
It's
win.
always a competition. I can't get rid of this stupid cough, and I didn't have the Rona again. If I had the Rona again, I'd be really pissed. But I can't get over this stupid cough I have. We were taking a nap earlier because we're old people and we took a nap.
Yeah.
Because what else do you do on a rainy day?
Stop. Just lay down.
As you're yelling at the dog. Well, why did we let Abel in here today?
I don't know.
I had a soft spot in my heart, and I said, "You can come in here."
Give it a couple. He'll clear the table.
Probably. But we were taking a nap. I woke myself up just hacking, coughing, and I'm like, what on earth is happening to me? But enough of our troubles. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, nobody
Everything's
wants to hear it.
fine.
Nobody cares.
And no one really gives a shit. But can we discuss my new t-shirt that I have?
We probably should.
Because if anyone's watching on YouTube, they can see we're classy as fuck today. We're drinking wine.
Oh,
red wine.
we've
We're not
stepped our game up.
we're not drinking cheap ass wine today. I mean, it's kind of cheap because I don't like to buy. I refuse. My mom taught me you can buy good wine for under $10.
Why are you going to spend? It's just like, well, I mean, I still like a good craft beer, but
Well, no, I mean, but
you're
she taught
spending
me
all that extra money.
Yeah, but she taught me she's learned from I guess her bosses or whatever. Like she has a refined palate when it comes to wine. But she taught me you shouldn't spend more than $10 for a bottle of wine, to enjoy. If we're gonna sit at home and enjoy a bottle of wine. So I love this one. It's Sterling.
It's a cab.
Vinters collection. It's a cab. Yeah, we're getting marketed into
good.
cabs. It's very good. And it was $10. It's always on sale at Big Bird.
They have a good white too, don't they?
Yeah. I don't think we had that one yet, though, did we?
I thought we did.
Oh, we might have. I don't know. We drink a lot of wine around here. But yeah, we look really, really classy. But my shirt is from Grunt Style, and it says, "Come and take it."
With a
wine glass. Come and take it, bitches. See what happens.
Yeah,
Chop your hand off.
I wouldn't try that.
Yeah, chop your hand off.
I
It's
would
fine.
advise against it strongly.
So I'm only going to say this because I know this episode's going to be released directly after the one we recorded yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm still super excited about our last guest that we had, Jenna. It was such an awesome episode.
That was really cool.
She was super cool. I chatted with her a little bit today just to thank her again for
It
putting
would
up
have
with
been really
us.
cool. She could have been in person
And had the dog.
and had the dog.
I just wanted the dog here. I mean, we really like Jenna, but I wanted to see the dog in person. He's super cool. But I do have to make sure. I mean, obviously, I talk to her pretty regularly. We go back and forth, but on the gram. But I will make sure that I tag and do photos of Dean and her, and make sure that I do everything because he is super cool. But we were going back and forth today because she got shout out by the dog trainer that we were talking about briefly in our episode. She was doing that slow walk challenge or whatever, and he shouted her out. He shared her on his story, and she was fangirling.
Nice.
She said so. She was all excited, but yeah, I was just super excited. It was fun to finally have.
That was really cool.
A guest. Sorry, Sarah. I swear we're not bashing you, but just to have someone
outside.
that we don't already know,
Yeah.
and that we're trying to get to know, and we already have someone else lined up. I'm not going to spoil any of that, but we already have someone else lined up, which is really cool. And I have a few other people that I kind of have on the back burner, so I got to kind of get with them and see where we're going to go with things, because I'd like to start doing a little bit different setup. We've talked about that. We're going to kind of change things up with the show a little bit. We've gotten some constructive criticism, which is a good thing.
We have. From actually a spot we were on.
From a spot we were on, and
which
from
is really cool.
One of, we'll say a friend of ours that we know in person. You know who you are. But he gives us good advice.
He does.
So we've gotten a lot of good advice from like a couple different people that have made some suggestions to us. So for those of you who have been following us along this journey from episode 1, I think this will be like, I think we'll be on
I don't even know where we're at, to be honest with you.
Something thereabouts for this episode. I don't know if it'll be the exact number for 16, but something close to that by this time this episode comes out. And we'll be kind of like mid-November when this episode comes out, because we're at the end of October while we're recording this.
Oh, yeah, it's fucking Halloween weekend.
Yeah.
We should have done a spooky episode.
Ooh, we should have ghosts and spooky. We should put spooky noises in our board here.
I don't know how to.
I don't know how to do that either.
Yeah.
I can't even edit YouTube videos. Like, what do you think I'm gonna do? But yeah. So we're gonna kind of change the setup a little bit, because this is gonna lead us into the next thing. That was really
I'm
cute.
good over here. Don't worry about me.
You're fine. But we've talked about, we still got to kind of think of, I'm tossing around some different names, like what I'm going to call this segment of just you and I, because it's no longer going to be just you and I for every episode. We're going to kind of flip-flop. It'll be you and I, then you and I and a guest. You and I, then you and I and a guest.
Hopefully we have enough guests. So.
I think I'll be able to keep it rolling. I think I have enough people kind of to keep us. And if not, then you're going to have to put up with us.
So everybody else needs to quit being pussies.
I don't know why people are so scared. And I'm not trying to like sound like me, but like people are like worried, like they don't, some people will tell me like people don't give a shit what I have to say. And it's like, I wouldn't have asked you if I didn't think that people would have cared.
Well, nobody cares what we have to say either.
Well, yeah, but someone's listening, I think. I don't know.
Somebody.
Someone out there. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like you just got to kind of convince some people. And a lot of people, though I think podcasts are super popular, especially in the podcasting world. I mean, it's blown up, but there's still a lot of people that don't listen to podcasts or don't even know what a podcast is, or like they've heard of it and don't understand them or whatever. So I think it's still convincing some people that don't understand the whole thing, like what it's going to be. So we're working on it. But I got to get better about promoting us, like seeking people in the right way. That's how we got our next guest, because I actually promoted us in the proper way, and he sought us out, which was cool. Gave it away. His pronouns are he.
He. Well, it might change that day. You never know. You have that option.
He might. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, so we're gonna kind of have like 2 different segments to our show. I've tossed some ideas around what I'm gonna call this. I kind of thought about like roll call or something. Like we'll call this
roll call,
and then just like name our guests, for the other episodes. But so yeah, you're gonna get us just kind of bitching on our episodes, and you'll have our guest episodes, which you already heard the last one. We had our first guest, which was, I'm hoping, gonna do really well, because she has a great following.
Yeah.
So I know the episode will do well because of her people. I know that they're very supportive of her. She has a really good group of people. Now, that episode may do good. The rest of our episodes do not do very good. So it's okay. We're learning. We're growing. We're trying.
There's a lot to figure out, though.
There's so much to figure out. So much. But anyways, I won't keep rambling about our woes of trying to figure out the podcasting world, because it's crazy. But that leads us into what we're going to start doing when it's just you and I, because we, again, got that constructive criticism. We need to be a little bit more structured, was the advice that we got. We are not structured in any way, shape, or form. So what we'd like to start doing is we're going to start, I guess, reacting to YouTube videos.
Well, just give us something a little more
of like a conversation starter.
Or article or whatever we can find.
Yeah, something police related, because we really do want to target our first responder community. And it's not to eliminate anyone that isn't in the first responder community, because we obviously talk about things not police and first responder related. But
yeah, but that's a good thing to shout out to everybody, because if you see something
then
that
you
we
can
could
share
talk
it
about or discuss, you can send it to us. And
so we have a video pulled up, ready to go.
Oh, now it's pulled up and ready to go.
Okay, so it's ready to go. We'll play it. It's about 6 minutes long. We'll actually have the sound for it, because I know most people are just listening. They're not watching. And if you are watching on YouTube, you can't really see it well.
We need to figure out how they project like this screen onto...
I think when we get a better computer for what you're using, I can screen record.
What's wrong with my 1980?
But I'm saying if I can screen record what you're watching, then I can add it to. I think that's what they do. But so we'll watch the video. I'm watching this one for the first time.
Yeah, I did see it earlier.
We'll talk about it and then kind of see where that brings us. And this is what we're gonna start doing, I guess.
Yeah.
Here we go. Well, do you want to lead? What is it? What are we watching?
Well, it's out of Chicago, and it's... I'm trying to find the channel. Police Activity I'm subscribed to on YouTube. And I watch a lot of these videos just for...
You watch a lot of YouTube videos. I watch a lot of MLM videos.
It's like,
watch a lot of police videos.
But it's like food for thought. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can kind of play the what if card, especially if we're ever in a situation like that. I think it's... I don't know. I think it's a good thing to...
Well, and I think that was the point of why we decided to start doing this. Was like, hey, let's react, because not only can we talk about this video, but I think it starts giving you food for thought for conversation in general and like different response, different
Well, and this is kind of an interesting topic because we've seen this come up a lot in the past. So this guy he's armed with a knife in Inglewood, in Chicago, in an apartment building. I don't know the nature of the call. I don't know why they're there. I believe he's obviously having some type of...
They don't give a description.
Mental episode. They probably do down in the...
I was going to say, I think they're pretty good about... They have over 3 million subscribers, so I think they're doing pretty good on...
He was 28.
Okay.
Oh, it was a domestic incident. Is why they were there.
So fatally shooting 28 Terrell Brown, who was armed with a knife, responded to a domestic incident in an apartment in block 6500 on South Harvard Avenue after 11 a.m. on September 19th of this year.
Oh, wow. That's kind of old.
Footage shows 2 officers entering the apartment Brown and his girlfriend shared and questioning Brown's girlfriend, who told police he had punched her several times after they got into a fight about laundry. And that's not funny. Like, that's typical, and that's something that we...
You know, it's funny that the littlest issues...
That's what I'm saying. Like, we...
turn into these big domestic...
Most of these domestic disturbances we get, when they tell us, like, what the issue... I'm not saying that they turn into fatal shootings that we've dealt with, because we haven't, fortunately, had to deal with, knock on wood. But they're always over something silly, something dumb, so laundry. But Brown's girlfriend then told police... Brown was in the back room of the apartment, had a knife. His cop began to move towards the back room. He heard Brown yelling at them, and the cop returned from the apartment pulling his gun. After a while, Brown appears from the back room, holding a knife and waving at the cops, telling them to leave. Brown is obscured by a wall for a brief moment, and when he reemerges, he doesn't appear to be holding anything in his right hand, and his left hand is obscured, the video shows. Brown slowly steps closer to the officers and appears to extend his right arm toward the door of the apartment to try to close it. An officer again tells him to put the knife down before firing 3 shots, striking him. A knife appears to fall from his left hand, according to the video. A second officer begins several minutes of chest compressions. Brown was later pronounced dead. All right, so let's watch the video.
Okay. I'm so excited.
Hey, how's it going, man? Everything's being recorded, okay?
Yeah.
Going out there.
Good old Axon body cameras.
Hitting you out of my face, all in my chest. Like that.
Any man's attention?
Yeah.
What was the fight about?
We downstairs washing the clothes. He takes the detergent, do like this. I say stop, hit me out of my chest, and I push him back. He go for that, hit me all in my face, punch me in my face, punch me all on my side, everything.
Where did he punch you in the side?
All right here.
Do you have any bruises or anything like that?
No, but he put a knife on me too. I want him out of my house, and I'm pressing charges on him.
What's his name?
Terrell Brown, he in the back.
Terrell Brown?
Yeah.
He has to have a knife right now?
Yep.
He has to, like, physically...
Yeah, I want him out.
Stay right here, okay?
Go away.
They retreated, which was a good idea.
I have so much I could say already.
Okay.
No. Let's go. Let's go through. I'm going to be patient.
First time ever.
724, shots fired. Shots fired by the police. Put it down! Put it down! Get down on the ground! 724, shots fired by the police. Gun defender down. Weapon recovered. I need EMS out of it. EMS. I need 724. Let's see that as well.
Where's the knife at?
I'm right there by his foot. 724, both people are found. Got him thunder down. We need EMS out there right away. And the supervisor. I'm on the second floor, apartment 2A.
That's
Pretty much it.
the gist of it. Yeah.
Was there anything else?
No,
added
they
to
do
the-
start some chest compressions, and then this guy ends up going outside before he's secured, obviously, because he was involved in the shooting.
Right.
And that's about where it stops. So,
good on them. Good on those officers. I'm glad no one was.
welcome to Chicago.
Yeah, I'm glad no one was hurt. I mean, the
Other than the
officer-
suspect,
other
yeah.
than the suspect, officer, no one was hurt. The female half, she wasn't hurt. She wasn't injured by the suspect or officers, anything
yeah.
like that. So, I mean, to me, if all goes right in the investigation and, you know, everyone's cleared, to me, this is clean cut good, you know?
Yes.
So, first thing, once bad guy goes down, then they're like, "Where's the knife? Where's that?" That's what I'm thinking. Like, just because he's down on the
Right.
floor, how do we know he's
Oh, you don't. Yeah.
down and he's not just pretending or whatever? Whatever. I mean, how do you know?
They can still hurt you.
And just because, I think that's the thing is that some people forget is that just because someone is shot doesn't mean that they are out of the fight.
No. And here's one thing I want to say right before we get too carried away. This is not to criticize anybody. Not the officers, the suspects. We're not trying to Monday morning quarterback this thing. Or what do you call it? Monday night quarterback
I can
this thing?
never remember the term. What is
Monday
it
morning
called?
quarterback.
Monday morning quarterback. What I say, Monday night?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of it's just, it's obviously it's always easier to sit back and watch the video.
This is just a conversation starter.
100%.
Yeah.
So just a quick disclaimer. That's
Yeah. And this is just our opinions, obviously.
Yeah. Oh,
Not-
yeah, absolutely. It's not to be.
not associated with our agency in any way. Shape,
No,
or
yes,
form.
we are not,
Formal disclaimer.
yes.
But yeah, I mean, I think knife calls are super tricky. So like gun calls, yes, obviously the guns can harm you from a long distance. That person does not have to gain a lot of ground in order to harm you from that distance. But another thing when it comes to knives, because I used to be a little knife fighter back in the day.
I believe the technical term is a ninja.
I was a ninja back in the day. No, I did my my formal knife training with my,
Yes.
I don't know if I should throw his name out there, but my sensei. But I did my,
sensei.
stop, don't make fun of him.
No,
He was
isn't that
amazing.
how?
That's not how I said it.
Oh,
I
my
called him
bad.
by his first name. But I did his knife program
Mm-hmm.
that he was very well known for. And, you know, you learn a lot about edged weapons, obviously, and how to handle those edged weapons and how quickly you can be injured by those edged weapons.
What is the 21-foot rule? What's the distance you can close?
Oh, it's like
seconds, right?
It's
I mean,
and
I don't
that's
know
what I
that,
was getting to. Is like, I think a lot of people go, well, he was just holding a knife, and that's why my example is about guns. Is so that if you're standing 21 feet with a gun, yeah, obviously you can fire that gun and injure me without closing any distance on me.
Well, the other issue, I shouldn't say issue. The other thing to be concerned about is that once they retreated and backed out into that hallway, that female's still in the apartment
Correct.
with the male,
Correct.
with the knife.
Correct.
So that also, if he's in there by himself, we'll try some negotiation
yeah.
tactic. And again,
Yeah,
not
but-
saying what they did is wrong. This is just
But-
food for thought. But if he's in there by himself, okay, so we can negotiate or do whatever. Now he's coming towards us.
All we have to worry about if he's in there by himself, we got sidetracked off what I was trying to say, but
Yeah, my bad.
if he's in there by himself, all we have to worry about is him harming himself.
Right.
That's our only concern. And obviously that's still a concern. You don't want anyone to
Right.
harm themselves. We would like to end every situation as peacefully as possible. But it's as possible. If the situation warrants force, deadly force, whatever it is, you have to do what you have to do. You have to respond appropriately. But, you know, in this case, having the female still in the apartment, I mean, good on these officers. I mean, like they reacted without hesitation, and knowing, going back to again what I was trying to say is that how quickly you can close that distance with a knife that people forget. They say, "Oh, well, they only had a knife in their hand." Again, going back to how I was saying with the example of the gun. Yeah, you can shoot a gun from a far distance, but how quickly you can close that distance with a knife is, I mean, it is insane. It is seconds. And that is before, you know, I mean, they've done tests where officers can't even draw their firearm, you know, in time to defend themselves with someone closing that distance with a knife. And this woman, I mean, maybe she had some sort of weapon on her. We don't know. I mean, she kept raising her shirt. I didn't see anything on her, but who knows if she had some sort of way to defend herself. But who's to say he wouldn't have started charging at her in that room? So they have to think about their safety and her safety, and also this male's safety at the same, you know, I mean, you're still also taking him into consideration until it becomes a deadly force situation where you have to act. I mean, I really do think that was a very, I think they performed really well in that, but I just think a lot of officers get judged very intensely by outside people when it comes to knife situations.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to bring that one up. Is I agree 100%. Like you said, oh, it's only a knife. Okay, so then let me stab you and see. Let's see how that works for you. It's still a weapon. It could take one time. There's no justification for it being only a knife. Right. In my opinion.
I mean, with like the formal training I had, what I was always taught in training is like, if you're, and I don't mean like this to sound stupid, like if you're ever in a knife fight, if you're ever fighting with edged weapons with someone, like you expect to get cut. Yeah. You are not like, there is no Hollywood scenario where you're not going to get cut.
You're blocking everyone and disarming them. And
it's not going to happen. I mean, you're going to end up getting cut. And I mean, it's a very dangerous situation, and so like creating that distance as much as possible is paramount, you know, for officers. But when you're in an apartment building, I mean, where are you going to go?
Yeah, and when you stepped out that front door, you were looking at flights of stairs, so you still have someone in the apartment. You can't barricade him in this apartment with her in there. But do you know what I thought was very bizarre was, I mean, maybe you just couldn't hear on their body cameras. I didn't hear anything from that female. She didn't move. She didn't flinch. She didn't say a word.
Nothing.
I think she kind of knew
what was going to happen.
Or maybe I shouldn't say that. She might have been in shock. You know what I mean? It might have, you know.
It was just a very odd. I mean.
But I mean, common sense also tells you if you're going to charge the police with a knife.
Right. I'm not trying to be judgy.
No.
I just thought it was
absolutely.
odd that you didn't hear anything.
Nothing. She just stood there and watched.
Silent. Just didn't say anything. So maybe it was shock. I mean, people do react to traumatic events in different ways, but I don't know. I mean, I just think that it is, it's very hard, you know, for officers, I think, after the situation. I think those guys did flawlessly in the situation, but I think it's the judgment of everyone else afterwards that is going to be the toughest part. Yeah,
especially in Chicago right now.
Yeah, and I think
with Beetlejuice.
Yeah, she's an ugly woman.
That's a whole another rant for another day.
She is not cute.
Oh no,
she is not cute at all.
What's you know those dolls you used to squeeze and like eyeballs would pop out of them? That's what she looks like.
Yeah, she's not a cute woman. But I just you know, you always think, I mean, you don't want to be that officer with your face plastered again, you know, on the, I mean, no one really gets newspapers anymore, but like on the newspaper, on the news channel, on the whatever. I mean, that's a scary thought, but at the same time, you have to forget about that when you're in the moment.
You have to know what you can and can't do, right? And I think that's a big thing going back to the training, not even just the the firearms training or the physical fighting training or the, you know what I mean? Focus on what you know you can do in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a huge aspect when you're looking at these situations. Know what you are justifiably allowed to do in this. And look, no situation's ever going to be like you read in a book or, you know what I mean? But if you know what you do or can do,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's only going to benefit you.
Yeah,
You're not,
absolutely.
you know, you have a passive resistor, as we call it. And you're not, you know, taking those, what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
You're not using a firearm in a situation like that, in a passive resisting situation,
So you're
right?
taking the proper, you're going through the proper steps of like the
Yes.
use of force
That's, yes.
continuum.
Yes.
Oh, I just sounded
There you
really
go.
smart there for a
Thanks
hot
for
minute.
bailing me out.
You're welcome.
We actually set that up at the beginning because she was like, hey, fumble over this so I can make myself sound smart. So there you go.
You're literally staring at me going,
I just drew a complete blank.
now
like,
you know how
nah,
I
nah, nah,
feel
nah, nah.
on a regular basis.
It's like my CD was skipping over here.
Yeah, I hate when that happens. My good old Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys CDs, they all
You
skip
had to take them
nowadays.
out and wipe them.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Not anymore.
You can't go with the grain though.
I didn't know there was a
ruined
grain.
it. You never looked at the bottom of a CD?
Yeah, they were always scratched to hell, probably because I was going against the grain.
You ruined them.
That's-
Jesus.
Oh, well.
But I'm sorry, so what were you going to say?
That's it. That's all I got.
I just, you know, I think when it comes to like domestic disturbances and domestic violence calls, Google percentage of like what the breakdown would be of types of calls police respond to. Like I would like to see like an average national statistic. So type
How
in
should
like
I?
just type in like types of calls police respond to, and I want to see if like maybe a chart comes up. There you go. Like Google already read your mind. Isn't that scary?
Because you said it. Oh, you know what I was gonna? Oh, maybe we shouldn't get on this.
What? No, say it. Come on, we can say anything we want.
You know, Amazon has a freaking robot out now
What?
that like patrols your house.
What?
I just watched a video on it earlier.
Like, what do you mean it patrols your house?
Oh, look up the video. It is.
Is it cool? Or is
Yes,
it
yes, and no.
creepy?
Kind of both. It is literally a robot
I was gonna say, can you give me a little more?
that, I mean, you can set it to do all kinds of stuff. It will literally.
Oh wait, you have to buy this thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like Amazon was like having a robot deliver packages or like something.
Well, they
like
had
that.
talked about that before, like the drones and all that. No, you buy this freaking
And
thing.
what does it do?
Name it.
Oh,
Like it will literally patrol your house. It's got cameras on it to where you can live view and control it and have it go all over the place.
No, we're not getting one.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Will it like feed the dogs? Will it let them go out and go potty? No, then we're not getting
I
one.
don't believe that's the extent of it. But it's got like cup holders in the back to where you can send drinks out to people.
Does it
It's
fold
got-
laundry?
It's got this pole camera that extends out of it and goes up high so you can like look
Oh.
higher with it.
Does
But
it-
it does. It patrols your house.
Does
Like
it fold laundry?
Not yet.
Okay, well then we're not getting.
So there's this suggestion for Amazon.
Yeah, fold laundry.
Make it
and
do
then I'll buy
household
it.
shit. Like Rosie the robot from the Jetsons.
Oh yeah,
That's what we need.
that would be really cool.
All right, what were we doing here?
Go to like photos or something. Go to images, photos.
What in the hell?
Go to the thing with the pictures. Yeah, see, there we
Ooh.
go. See,
This might be like agency specific.
That's.
Where would you like me to go
this
now,
one.
boss?
Average police. Oh, that's average police response time. That's interesting. That does look police. Go down. Go down.
Yes,
no,
ma'am.
not in that
I'm
section.
just
Go
the
to
wrong
the left.
fucking
Go to the
bar.
left.
God.
Let's see. What's that?
Those are burglaries.
Oh my gosh, this is like defeating
Response
what I was.
times. We should have planned this out a little
That's
bit.
okay. So my
Anyways.
point was, I feel like a lot of the calls that police do respond to, and what I mean, at least what I know that we respond to, is there's a lot of domestic disturbances, and which doesn't mean that it's necessarily domestic violence.
You know what I feel like the biggest call that police respond to?
What?
Civil issues.
We do respond to a lot of civil issues.
Do you know that probably
Wait, isn't it the greatest though when you clear a call and you're like,
No report.
clear, civil issue?
Yeah. They've been advised.
Yeah, they've been advised, civil issue.
But I mean, give me a number. What do you think? I would say we're probably well over half.
I wouldn't say
Right.
well over half because we
Think
get
about
a
it.
lot of theft. Got a lot of shoplifters.
Well, those don't
A
really
lot
count.
of people like to steal. Yeah,
Just
I mean,
pay for your shit. And for fuck's sakes, would you quit going through the self-checkout line trying to steal shit?
yeah. You know, so can we talk about that for a second? A lot of
No.
stores have it. We don't have to talk about like specific stores or whatever, because I mean, you name it, every store has
Everybody, yeah.
self-checkout.
Yeah.
You know, we're really getting off track, but that's fine. This is like way far down the line from like knife fighting and gun
Knife fights to
shooting,
self-checkouts.
Oh, you're gonna pour some more wine? Did you already finish that glass?
No, there's a little bit in there, but
You drunkard. I love it. I wore this red wine shirt today so that in case I dribbled any
well,
red
here's
wine
been
on
my
me, that it
biggest
wouldn't-
concern is wearing this light gray hoodie while drinking red wine.
You're gonna dribble red wine all over the place.
I know, just lick the top of it. That's what she said.
Oh my god.
That was
I hope my mom's
That was a
not
good one.
listening. Jeez.
You're welcome.
But so a lot of
Oh, there's barely
stores.
even anything in there. The fuck?
There's a hole in the bottom.
Must be.
Isn't there a song about that? No, I'm not
There's
gonna
a
sing.
hole
I'm not
in my
gonna sing.
bottle.
If we put songs on here, then we only can go on Spotify, so we can't
Maybe
do
that's
that.
what we should start doing is karaoke. Go on with your point. We're getting...
So a lot of stores have this self-checkout, and people don't like to scan everything. And
Or you're putting a 99-cent sticker on
well, that's price tag
72-inch
switching.
TV.
There's a
and trying
difference.
to-
Failure to scan, price tag switching. This is big crime, people. You know,
Both of which are illegal.
those are both illegal. If you didn't know, newsflash. But you know,
Although,
I wonder what the defense is when you go to court.
you know what I think they need to do
What?
is redo that section
What do you mean?
of the law
Oh, they need to rewrite it.
because it doesn't state.
Correct.
This is not legal advice,
No.
but
It's
doesn't.
select, conceal, and exit.
All points of purchase.
Yeah, we'll pass all points purchase,
But it doesn't state anything else in there.
right. So that's what I'm saying. Like
So it's just crazy.
it's a very gray area right now of like theft. I find it very interesting. A lot of the ones that we have dealt with lately have been very low level,
Yeah.
lower amounts.
But
I
you know
would
what's
say.
funny? We've talked about this before. Are we not paranoid if we go through self-checkout?
Okay, so can we tell
Or-
the story when we went to Big Bird when we were buying?
Yes.
Okay, so we were buying a bunch of. We went there for all the wine. We wanted to get a bunch of red
Well,
wine.
that, we got just some miscellaneous.
We bought food. We
groceries.
do
It
actually
was
like eat our
yeah.
calories. Sometimes we don't just drink it.
And then some.
But clearly.
Oh,
But,
thanks.
Me.
You
I'm
looked and
talking
pointed
about.
at me.
I said clearly.
God.
Here.
Way to slide in a fat joke.
Oh my god. Whatever. So we're at Big Bird.
Big Bird.
And you can get those like little scan and go things, and I'm
Yes.
like, why not? Why don't we try one of these? We hate
Sure.
standing in line. So we're going around shopping, and we both are, ADD. Like we can't focus on like one task at hand.
Squirrel.
And so you're over in one section of the store, I'm in the other section of the store, and we're just throwing stuff in the cart. Well, I have the scan and go thing in my hand, so I'm scanning stuff as I'm going. You're just throwing things in the cart, not even thinking.
Completely forgot
So-
that that's what we were doing.
Fortunately, me being the intelligent person that
Such
I
a
am,
genius.
no, thank God I remembered. I'm scanning as you're throwing stuff in there because I'm
Yes.
like, oh crap, we gotta scan this. So we get out, we go to check out. First off, the bitch in the box, the lady, when you go to check out, she was like, your price is $119.67.
It was
And I'm like,
loud.
did you have to tell everyone how much we just
And
spent?
then, of course, she throws in, would you like to donate?
and, it's like, and you say
then you
no,
feel
and
bad.
she's like, thanks for not donating.
You piece of shit.
Piece of shit. It's so loud.
Starving kids everywhere, and you don't want to donate $1.
Store can hear everything, and you're like, oh my god, this is so embarrassing.
It's a very cool feature.
Yeah, but don't be so loud, you bitch in the box.
But yeah, can we turn that motherfucker down?
I'm like, we're not all deaf, But we're walking out of the store, and I'm like, did we scan everything? Like, I'm scared. Like, I
know.
Like, you can't be two cops and have like loss prevention come running after you. Like,
Right.
you're gonna pay for everything. Get in
Yeah.
here. Like, no, we did. I swear to God. But yeah, that we got way off track with that. But like, it's kind of crazy that, you know, the law is always behind the times.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, obviously it takes a long time to
Right.
update laws and things like that. And I understand it's not like they can just go in and update their status like you can on, you know, social media and things like that. They have to do steps to update it.
Right.
But technology, we are moving so fast.
Yes, nothing else is keeping
It
up
can't
with
keep up with it. And so I wonder what these people are using as defense. Like, oh, I
didn't
missed it.
know.
I didn't realize I didn't scan it. It's like, bitch, please.
Well, again,
that comes across the screen when you scan it.
Like we said before, I believe it all comes down to intent.
Absolutely.
Right? Was it an issue, or are you
But
purposely?
you know, when one of the stores, I won't name which, but because I don't want to give away their secrets either, but they can actually physically watch people in the self-checkout lane, watch like what they're scanning.
And the technology
is
with
amazing.
the cameras.
Yeah.
That if you pull it out of your cart and put it on the belt, the camera is registering it, like looking at it, taking measurements, dimensions of it, and if it doesn't match with what you scan, it sends an alert, and then you get in there and look, you know.
So it's really cool.
It really is. It doesn't prevent anything, obviously, because people are still like, fuck it.
Yeah, they're trying. But yeah, going back to what we were originally talking about, I
we're
think
so far gone.
we do respond to a lot of domestic disturbances. And like I said, there's a
Yeah.
difference between domestic disturbances and domestic violence.
Well, yeah.
Now, there's a gray area in between, because when you go to a quote unquote domestic disturbance, is it actually a domestic violence situation? Or if you get called to a domestic violence situation, is it actually a domestic disturbance situation?
Yeah,
And
sometimes we don't know. And sometimes we have that feeling they're covering for each other.
correct.
But it's what you can prove.
It's what you can prove. And I truly, though I, in particular, love calls. I don't love, this sounds bad. I don't love going to calls where people are being hurt or like,
Right.
I don't like seeing people at their worst days of their lives, but I enjoy being able to interact with people. And if I have the opportunity to be that person that they can talk to or help them in any way that I can, whatever, I enjoy that. I'm not saying that isn't the same for you, but I can only speak for myself. But I like any kind of call like that where I can talk to someone.
Right.
Hence why we have a podcast, because I just wanted to be able to talk and force you to be in a room with me and have to listen to me. So that's
Is
why
that
we're
why
here.
the lock's on the inside, not the outside?
Well, and that's why I have the key and you don't. But I digress. But, you know, I really despise domestic violence calls at the same time, because we have to make such a tough decision when it comes to whether to make an arrest or not. And when it comes, explain with Ohio, the domestic violence laws, because you are a little bit better about explaining it, like what our requirements are.
Well,
with
as
the law.
far as what? I mean, pretty much
Generally speaking.
Ohio's a zero tolerance state.
Correct.
Right? So if we can determine, obviously something physical has happened, and we can determine a primary physical aggressor, we're required to make an arrest.
Right.
It's not worded that we should make an arrest. You will make an arrest. And I do agree with that.
Yeah.
If it's cut and dry,
But
I
they're
don't feel
never
like there's
cut
an
and
issue.
dry.
But most of the time they are not.
They're not cut and dry.
And that's where it gets tricky.
And I think the problem is too, is like you add alcohol. You
Yes.
add,
Which is
I would say
not always, but it is a
most.
big contributor, right? I think you can take a small argument, add some alcohol to it, and it will fly off the rails.
Look at, and I'm not saying we've had domestic violence issues, but look at even stupid arguments you and I have had.
The last time you hit me?
Oh, shut the fuck up.
I'm sorry.
Shut up. I would never hear
That's
you.
obviously a joke.
But in the past, when in our younger years, because we've been together for so long now, it's been forever.
I guess we're in our old years
We're in
now.
our old years. But when we first started dating, you know, we we're a little bit more mature in our drinking. Although sometimes we do get sloshed still once in a while, but then we feel it the next day and then we're in bed for the entire day.
Can't do it.
I specifically remember a wedding we went to at the beginning of this year where we could not get out of bed for the entire next day because we partied a little too hard.
I almost checked myself into a hospital.
Yeah, it was bad.
Because I just needed fluids.
It was bad. But anyways, we used to drink a little bit more than what we would drink now. Yeah. And we would have these dumb arguments. And you added alcohol to those dumb arguments. And again, it never turned into domestic violence. But you think about like the next day when we would like talk about it, we'd apologize, whatever. And we'd be like,
what the fuck
why
are
we fighting over why the nope, I'm looking at a notebook right now. Like why the notebook was yellow. Like why? And then I'm like, it was petty, dumb shit that you would never have a fight over that without alcohol. But you add alcohol to a scenario and it exacerbates everything. It just makes everything more intense. And to me, when we go to these things and like the laundry thing, clearly these people in the knife situation with the shooting, clearly there's some other issue going on
Well,
here.
look, and they could have been fighting about God knows what earlier, but it comes out in the form of the laundry or whatever the case may be.
Something stupid that kind of is like the straw that broke the camel's back. But like it's always the smallest thing that kind of sets people over the edge is my point. But there's always more to the story. Yeah. That's what I do like about getting to talk to people. Is like, there's always more to the story. And like, what are you not telling us?
Yes.
And my absolute favorite is like when they first tell you the initial story and you kind of give them that like side eye, like,
bullshit.
That does not make any sense.
I'm calling bullshit.
Let's try that again. And then you get a little bit more of the story and then a little bit more of the story. But domestic violence is so complicated because it's a mandatory to make that arrest when we can determine that primary physical aggressor. Mm-hmm. And with a domestic violence charge on your record, that is very life altering. Again, I'm not saying that we should make decisions based on like what we're altering in people's lives or whatever, but like that's a very heavy charge and you need to...
Shouldn't be taken lightly.
Correct.
It's not a speeding ticket where you have that discretion of, well, I'll give you a break or no, I'm going to cite you because
you need to take the time and you need to really talk and figure it out. If there's apparent physical injury, that's a completely different scenario. But here's the thing that gets even more complicated is that you take, look at like battered women syndrome. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, I believe we have in the past, I'm not saying like recently or not like a long time ago or whatever, but in the past, we've arrested sometimes females. I can think of one in particular, and this was years ago, but I didn't make the arrest, but I heard the story later. I'll tell you after when we're done recording and you might remember it, but she was arrested. The female half was arrested. And I'm not saying the primary physical aggressor is always males. Mm-hmm. Statistically, males typically are the primary physical aggressor. But this female half ended up being arrested in this situation. She had beat the shit out of the male half. I mean, beat the shit out of him. We arrested her and she went to jail, obviously. Come to find out that, he had been beating her ass on a regular basis and she's never calling. And again, I'm not justifying and saying that it was okay what she did that day, but it comes to a point.
Everybody has a point.
Everyone has a breaking point. And like, that's the thing that makes me so angry is that, when I was doing my master's, we had to do, I forget like what the class was, but it was like I was a victimology, that came out really weird.
Victimology?
Victimology.
What's a mology?
Victimology concentration, but we had a specific course that we focused a lot on the domestic violence aspect of victimology. And we talked a lot about the battered women syndrome and how it takes a lot for women because for whatever reason, this loyalty that women don't want to report, and it's that cycle of violence, and they feel like, oh, he's gonna change, oh, he still loves me, whatever the situation may be, but they don't end up calling, and then eventually they have a breaking point, and then they end up just lashing out, finally beating the shit out of the dude. The dude is like, what the fuck, calls the cops on her, and she gets arrested when he should have been arrested 20 times before, whatever it was. And that's the shit that pisses me off because we have a duty we have to arrest her. Like, how do you not? But at the same time,
it goes back to what you can prove at that exact moment.
time.
You can't in those instances bring what's happened 6 months ago into play, and I'm not discrediting her or that situation, but unfortunately that's where we get in that weird pickle of it's right now. What,
But here's like the advice I have if there's any officers listening. I think that we quickly forget that, yes, in the moment, we make that decision, we make the arrest, and we do our report, we do our paperwork, and then theoretically, you're done. Like, you're done, and it moves on to the rest of the system. But technically, you still have an involvement, because if you do get, subpoenaed to go to court or whatever it is, you can also pick up the phone and you can talk to the prosecutor. You can talk to the court system. That's not you like snaking, like you can have conversations with people.
Right.
I mean, we had, do you remember the guy arrested for criminal trespass that had dementia? That couldn't even remember that he had been
from the way East End.
Yeah, and he could never remember that he was ever banned from the place that he kept trespassing on. So I called the prosecutor and explained that this elderly male, these people were hell bent on him being charged with criminal trespass, and it was like, he is 86 years old.
He doesn't know what he had for lunch.
He doesn't remember. Like, he doesn't
Yeah.
even know where he's at. But they're hell bent on charging him. It was like this whole thing. I was very, very angry, very upset. But I called the prosecutor and was like, here's the deal. I coordinated with his children. I got in touch with them before calling the prosecutor. And you don't have to do this. I'm not saying this is what you have to do for every case.
No, but you know what? It hasn't been an issue since.
It hasn't been an issue since. But I called before calling the prosecutor. I got all my shit together. I called his children. I had found them because we will find you. I think we said that in an episode one time. Like, we will find you.
It is crazy.
You can find people.
We will fucking find you.
We'll find you.
Yeah.
But I found his children, got in touch with them. They had like all the medical, ready to go, because they were trying to do like the take me home stuff with him. And it had just been an issue. They'd had a long history with him. And had that lined up. They had emailed me everything. I called the prosecutor and talked to them, forwarded them all the medical stuff, and the charges were dropped. And my thing was like, I am not trying to like take away from justice here, or like not have people be criminally charged, but it was common sense. And it was like, to me, at some point, that is not justice. Justice is getting this man did not have a criminal charge and a criminal record at 86 years old. And so it's same thing with this female. I don't think I went to that extent, because this was years ago. And as a young officer, like, I'm so mature now. Not really. I'm not tooting my horn. That was a sarcastic comment.
She's really not. Let me say.
Shut up. But I've learned some things from other officers that, I constantly learn, and I ask questions, and you should constantly keep learning.
100%.
And even if you're on your force for 20 years, you should still be learning, and you should still be taking in new things.
If you're not learning something, you're not
doing it right.
You're not doing your job. Yeah.
And because it's always evolving, just like shoplifting, it's evolving. Like, it constantly changes. As dumb of a crime as it is, it's evolving. But this girl, what I could have done looking back is, you can call and talk to the prosecutor. It's not about getting the charges dropped, but it's at least letting them know so that maybe they can, instead of just charging her, giving her a jail sentence or whatever it might be, maybe we can get her set up in some sort of program. Maybe we can get her set up in whatever. It goes back to my sex trafficking girls. Why I always refer to them like that. But any of the girls that we run across that are involved in sex trafficking, if we can get them involved in the court system, there's a specific court system in our area. I won't give away the name for it, but it's an amazing program that it's geared towards prostitution. So essentially, the overarching term that like nationally would be like the general term is like prostitution problem solving courts. They have like drug problem solving courts, mental health problem solving courts, things like that.
Yeah, you can go through the system 98 times, but if you're not getting actual help, you're just going to continue to be back in the system. Yeah, I mean, you got to, at some point in time, you have to solve the issue at hand. You can't just keep
issue.
Yes, because you cannot continue to put somebody through. Because what are you getting at the end of the day? You're not achieving anything.
No.
You're not even doing the system any justice. You're not doing that person any justice. I hate to say it this way, but you're literally you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
It is what you're doing.
Absolutely.
That their time, your time. If you're not going to solve the issue, then why even go through the process?
Yeah. And so it's like, you can call, and again, I'm not talking about like calling these prosecutors to try to get charges dropped every single time, but calling prosecutors to give them more of a story. I mean, because I put a lot in my reports because I think you should put as much as you can in your reports, but you don't need to put their entire back history in there. That's not necessary. Yeah. But you can call and give them that backstory, and you can call and talk to them, which can help them get maybe into, if there's a drug problem, get them into a drug problem solving court, whatever that court system, like whatever the term that they use for it, or a mental health court, or a whatever that may be, but get them some help that they need that might help them get out of that situation so that they don't go back to the same, cycle that they were in. And I think as officers, we need to keep that in mind, that there is more to our job than arresting people, or traffic. I mean, doing any sort of traffic, but arresting people and doing paperwork and patrolling neighborhoods. I mean, there's so much more to it. Like we impact people's lives in positive ways, but a lot of negative ways.
But we are fortunate to, and we've said this before, to work for an agency where we have the ability sometimes to take that extra step, right? Spend a little bit extra time with somebody, or the
we're
old
spoiled.
lady that I would go up and visit quite
Can you
often.
Go get me my sausage cakes
I
down
would
in the
go down to the freezer, bring up her breakfast
sausage
sandwiches,
cake.
heat them up
breakfast
for her.
Sandwiches, that's what it was.
But we are fortunate to have that.
Yeah, we're not
you
Chicago.
go to somewhere like
PD.
Chicago when
yeah.
you start your shift, you have 400 calls that have been sitting for 2.5 days. You know what I mean? And you're going to the high priority shit. So we are very fortunate.
I'm not trying to say like all officers have the time, or like
No,
I'm not trying to say that every officer needs to take the time to do this, but if you have the opportunity, if the situation calls for it, if it's appropriate,
Go above and beyond.
Whatever,
Go
if
above
you
and beyond
have
the call.
the chance to do it. It's not every scenario that requires it. Do we go above and beyond in every scenario?
No.
Hell no.
Nope.
Because it doesn't require it. The situation doesn't warrant it. But
sometimes you get what you have coming to you. Like you've earned it. You deserve it. Right?
Yeah.
Whether it's an arrest, a ticket, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, you've earned that one.
yeah, you've earned it. But the rule that you and I both live by, just because you did something stupid and just because you did a bad thing doesn't mean that I'm going to treat you like shit.
Well, no, because we're all human beings. We've all had bad days.
That's why I always say you're human too. They're always like, why are you so nice to me? Once they're in the back of my car and they're hooked up and they're good. And that's why I say it's nothing personal. You're a human being.
It's a job.
That's why I say
right?
I got to do a job to do.
And while I take my job seriously, I don't take necessarily what occurred and the incident that occurred personally, because it's not personal. Yeah. It is what it is. It's out there. If it wasn't out there, we wouldn't have a job. So take that for what it's worth.
It is job security.
It is job security. But going back to Chicago, face value, do you think there's a mental issue, a mental health issue?
Yes. So I think obviously we don't have a lot of
we don't have the whole story,
the backstory. So I think it would be either a combination thereof or two things. Either alcohol involved, which going back to like our stupid domestic disturbance thing, like maybe asked up the laundry fight or whatever, or some sort of mental health issue, which I think mental health is an underlying issue in so many things today. And I'm glad that we're getting into this. At
what point does a reasonable person confront police officers with a knife?
Correct.
Right? So, I mean, that's kind of I don't want to say a dead giveaway, but again, it's kind of common sense. Most reasonable people obviously would not do that.
Right.
So if you're already to that point, there's something
off
going on.
Yeah, there's something off and something going on. But, when you look at scenarios like this, I hate, and I'm glad that I don't know what the news titled this as, and I don't know if they ever named him like with mental health or whatever.
I don't like the fucking news stories.
Correct.
Because you never know what narrative you're going to get.
Right.
These videos and these channels that I follow, nobody narrates them. They give you a description of what occurred, and it's literally just what happened. But it's not swayed one way or the other.
Right.
Here it is. It's out there. It's unedited. It is.
Are you giving me double knife hand right now?
Because I'm about to judo chop the fuck out of you. But that's why I like it. You know what I mean? Because you can just watch it and just just take it for what it is. You can have your own opinion. You can do whatever you want.
Plots.
Sorry, I was trying to sit for a
In
while.
the dog to
Oh,
plots.
I thought you were yelling at me again.
Oh, plots.
Plot.
Plots.
So yeah.
And but man, how many people do you think that we arrest that have mental health issues? Like average, like percentage wise.
Well, there was a couple of us the other day at the start of the shift that were just having a conversation about this. One of the officers is very veteran, on the way out the door veteran.
Mm-hmm.
The other is like midway, maybe. And there used to be, and we talked about this like, I think it was episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be resources.
Episode 1, it was like 2 days ago.
There used to be resources for people with mental health issues. Now there's not. They've closed all of those facilities. There are still things out there for people that are struggling with that, but it's not. A lot of it is up to that individual. And if you're already suffering or going through some type of mental health crisis, you're not going to take the steps required to get that help and see it through.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. So the veteran officer was saying that's like almost all you deal with now. Not all you deal with, because you still have your people that are just, whether it's a drug issue or just somebody on a bad day or whatever the case may be. But the increase in the people that you deal with some type of mental health issues is astronomical. I mean, it is, because before you would run into them, but you could throw them in your car and take them to one of these places where they could get the help they need and not be out wandering on the street. And that's the other thing. How many homeless people do we run across that have extreme mental health disorders or issues?
Most of them.
Probably 90% of them.
Yeah.
But again, you go back, what are you supposed to, and this is, I don't mean this to sound bad, but what are you supposed to do with them?
Right.
Like jail or the hospital?
Right.
And the hospital's not going to keep them, especially now because we're in this pandemic.
And you can't get them into jail.
And they're not going to jail. And it's not necessarily that you always want to hem them up and charge them, but at the same time, maybe sometimes that's the better option. At least they're off the street. They can go in there. They can eat. They can be out of the elements. They can,
3 hots in a cot.
for a short period of time, maybe get a little bit of help that they need.
Okay.
To an extent, right?
So a couple things.
She's about to tell me you're wrong.
No, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong.
Because I could see by the look you gave me.
A couple things.
Well, first of all, mister, let me just tell you.
Okay, first of all. So when you mentioned you said sometimes it's just drug use or whatever. Damn, you're going to finish that bottle all by yourself.
No,
okay.
I left you a swig.
Okay. I see. See, I got you all started on a red wine, and look, I still have like my glass. I didn't even. Oh my God, it's good. Jeez.
Oh, so then I can finish?
Look it. That sounded really bad. That was. Oh my God. I really hope no one's watching on YouTube right now. That was the bottle that I just said. So it didn't spill red wine all over our carpet.
Well, I'll just.
Oh my God. Yep. Take it to the face. Yep. There we go. Yep. We're good.
What do you want me to do with it now?
There you go, champ. Just leave it right there.
Do you want me to
Clean
lick
it. No, please don't.
Put the cork
We're
in.
good. Yep, just leave the cork in it. We're good. Okay, so getting back to what I was talking about. This got really weird. Maybe I should edit that out, but I'll forget to and I won't. So it's fine. So anyways, this got really weird.
Are you blushing?
Am my cheeks getting a little red?
A little bit.
It's a little toasty.
All right, come on, let's
Okay.
Flustered.
It got all flustered watching you do that to the bottle. So I just fixed the problem yesterday. It did great during our last one. Whatever.
Anyways.
So
Here we
the
are.
drug
We're back.
use. I think, honestly, we deal with a lot of
I
people
don't remember
using
saying
drugs.
anything about drug use.
You said sometimes it's just normal people, sometimes it's just drug use, and sometimes it's mental health, something along those lines. We deal with a lot of people using drugs. Okay, I mean a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I truly believe that mental health, and I know you believe this too. I think you just didn't say it, but mental health and drug use completely intersect because
Yes.
a lot of people, rather than getting the help they need, they rather do April's moaning.
Well, it's self-medication,
They
right?
self-medicate
I mean,
with the drugs,
yeah.
and so they're curing,
or
quote
you've
unquote.
done so many drugs for so long that it creates.
I don't know. I mean, I know it injures the brain. Like it can do things to the brain. I don't think drugs are. Can anyone hear the
well,
dog mooing in the
Give
background?
us your opinion then.
Yeah, he disagrees. I don't think drugs are causing schizophrenia, for example. And I'm using the
okay, so
extreme
maybe
end.
not something of that extreme, but look at the frequent flyer that we've had the past couple weeks with alcohol.
Okay,
Do you know which one
I can't.
Mom is there, gets involved, tries to help her.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You
Now
still-
I remember. Eating
Okay.
disorder.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you think? Again, I think I've mentioned this before. What comes first? Right, because Mom seems to think that the alcoholism caused everything else.
See, here's my opinion is, that's my disclaimer. My opinion is that there's an underlying, maybe low level of whether it's something. So if it's anxiety or depression or whatever, and it needs to be some sort of trigger that brings that out. And I'm not talking about triggers like people on college campuses who say like, I'm triggered and I'm unsafe. I'm talking about like actual legit triggers that are drawing these out. I think that drugs and alcohol can be that trigger that bring, can you put the zip tie down? Jeez. Can bring that out of someone just because it is they can be depressants or they can be uppers and things like that. So they're drawing that mental illness
And
out.
maybe you're probably, and some of that's my own ignorance. Like
But I also think that you think about the people who are abusing alcohol and they're abusing drugs, that they're typically not putting themselves in good positions. So think about this. I'm not saying you and I are the classiest people or that we're perfect people, because we're not.
we're pretty close.
Close. But you and I are capable of sharing a bottle of wine. We're sitting here in our home. We're just having a conversation. We're not yelling at, we're not going to pass out drunk tonight. We're going to eat dinner. I'm capable of cooking us dinner. We're functioning tonight and we're not hammered and we go to work tomorrow. We don't wake up and have a drink tomorrow. We go to work, we function, we live our life, and we probably won't have another drink. We won't, because I know we never drink at all during the week when we get home from work, but we won't have a drink until we're off next Wednesday. I think we took the day off. And if we decide to have a drink Wednesday, that'll be the soonest that we have another drink, because we don't need to have a drink to function. We choose to have a drink to have, in the evening with dinner. Like we chose to drink red wine tonight because we're having steak. So that's a normal choice. We don't need it to function. We've had nights where we don't drink at all.
Yeah.
But I think that, people who are dependent on alcohol and dependent on drugs, you think about the positions that they put themselves in. They're going to maybe not good places. They're calling their drug dealer. They're calling whoever it is to get their fix, whatever it is. And I think that's all. It's putting them in potential situations to cause PTSD, traumatic situations, which is also going to cause further issues with exasperating that maybe underlying low level mental illness that might already be there.
So you didn't say this, but let me ask you this again. This is just your opinion. Do you think everybody with a drug or alcohol problem has some type of mental issue then? Again, just your opinion. I mean, face value, just...
I don't want to... I feel like... So here's my thing, is that I think it was a Cleared Hot episode, and I tried to bring it up in one of our episodes, and we kind of got sidetracked, imagine that. But I wanted to talk about this because I really do think mental health is so important, and I would like to keep talking about mental health in future episodes and continue to talk about it. But I think to some degree, and this can be controversial, I think to some degree, everyone has a degree of mental health issues to some degree. Like everyone, and just hear me out before you say anything, because I see your mind wandering. Like everyone has anxiety. Everyone has been depressed at some point in their life, but they're not to the degree of being they're not diagnosable, and they're not causing them disturbances in their life. I think the problem that we live in right now is that everyone is being diagnosed with something because
Here, take a pill.
Everyone is given a pill for
Yes.
everything.
So then, is it really an issue, or is that the norm? For everybody to have some
so that's
type
what I'm
of
getting. So I think that everyone has, and it's here, and that's what I want to say. And having anxiety is normal, and is okay, and it is a good thing. Everyone shouldn't just be medicated. Like
Right.
you need to have some sort of anxiety, because that is your gauge to let you know, like, hey, maybe I shouldn't be involved in this situation. Like, like let's get ourselves out of it, or what? It's your gauge in life. Like everyone should have some sort of degree of anxiety in their life. It's when it starts disturbing your life, that's when it becomes an issue.
So you shouldn't be at a 0. You should have some type of
Everyone has
escalated, baseline. Right?
Everyone's going to have some sort of you're going to have issues in your life. I mean, if your life is at a baseline 0 for your entire life, what are you doing
need
with
to
your
get out
life?
and live.
You need to live a little. But here's my thing is that I think the lack of coping skills, that is the problem in the world that we live in today. No one is coping with anything. Yeah. And rather than actually coping with them in healthy and proper ways, we're coping with them with either being the type of people where we almost like that victim mentality, like I talked about with myself years ago when I was like, oh, woe is me. Like I have an eating disorder. I have this, I have that. I identified with all those things, and I couldn't function without those things. Where like today I'm like, fuck all that shit. Like I don't want to say I'm better than that, but like that's in my past, and I want to keep moving forward. Like I want to be beyond those things. Yeah. But I think some people still want to identify with that, and they want to go get pills. They want to say, oh, I have so much anxiety, like I have to take a Xanax every day, or I have to take a this every day, or take a whatever it is. Right. And if you need it, I'm not judging you for it, because like I take a daily anxiety medication, because I've talked about before, when I was going through my eating disorder treatment, it was discussed that that would help me even out to get me through that hump, to get me over that edge of let's get you through this. Am I taking a Xanax every day? Fuck no, I'm not even prescribed Xanax, because I think that is a very overprescribed. Yeah. That's and
it's very intense.
It's an emergency medication. That's not a daily medication. I don't want to be on my medication for the rest of my life. I would like to get it off, or get off of it soon. I mean, I've already talked with my doctor, I would like to get off of it soon, because I don't think I need it anymore. I think I've learned a lot of healthy coping skills from, my therapy that I've been in for a long time, that I've chosen, to participate in now, not just go to, I participate in now. But a lot of people don't want to do that. They rather just go, give me a pill, give me a pill, give me a pill. And either they want to be on those pills, or they want to do that. Go get drugs off the street, right, or alcohol or whatever. And so I think mental health is a lot of underlying issues, and we have zero coping mechanisms. And like you said, we have no way to help these people. And instead of just medicating everyone, we're just sending people either to jail or to the hospital, and they're doing nothing.
Or a lot of the people we deal with aren't even medicated. They're just on their own, but they have serious, severe.
But here's the problem is they're medicating them. So say they're prescribed something, they'll go to the hospital. If they've been prescribed something in the past, they'll put them on this medication
and then boot them out the door.
And then they cold turkey, I'm sure the doctor gives them. It's not like the hospital's
you need
cold
to follow
turkeying
up
them.
with your doctor.
You got to follow up and whatever. These people are either they're selling them, or they're cold. They're cold turkeying on this medication. And as well as I do, when I have cold turkey on my medication years and years and years ago, it did not go well for me. It was not okay. And I mean, my mom can be the person to speak very well to this. It did not go well. I mean, I was a a basket case because that medicine is not meant to be that way, and it fucks with your mind.
Yeah.
You know, and so I don't know. I mean, I really think that mental health is such a massive problem that we have today, and it's not a massive problem because we have this like pandemic, epidemic, whatever, I don't remember like the difference between the two terms, but like this huge problem with mental health. I think it's the fact that we're not teaching people the right ways to deal with everyday anxiety and everyday sadness and everyday hardship. And so every time someone deals with anything that is not perfect, they think that it is the worst thing that has ever happened to them. They crumble to pieces. And that's why we're going with people that are choosing to go to drugs and alcohol or just be on pills. And like, there's so many other things that you could do. Exercise, diet, sleep, hydration, having a, I guess like set schedule, a routine. That's what I'm looking for. A routine. Like there's so many things that you don't have to be rich to do. Like when I'm talking about exercise, go on a fucking walk. Like you don't have to go to a gym when I talk about exercise. Like go on a walk. What's this?
Deinstitutionalization.
Oh, when they close all the mental hospitals?
Yeah. So I was just kind of curious of what the
introduction of
drive.
Psychiatric drugs and individual states' desire to reduce costs for mental health hospitals. This is the shit. Yes. Is that it is about pills, and it is the pharmaceutical companies.
Well,
it's money.
And I feel like it's cheaper for states to not have those, because where's that money coming from? Right? I
Tax
hate
dollars.
to say that, right? And I hate to say that, but and this is just.
It's our opinion.
Just going to throw it out there, just my opinion. Why would you invest all that money into that when you could just throw a couple of cent pills down somebody's throat and allocate that money?
I know you don't mean that.
I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's my opinion as to why they were like, well, we could probably do away with that.
Right.
And take that money and put it here or there or in their own pockets. Or, you know what I mean?
Do you
And that's exactly what this says.
Deinstitutionalization. That's a long freaking word.
That's why I was like deinstitutionalization.
But
that
do you understand like how hard it is to remember to take a pill every single day? I'm not talking about the pill, birth control pill. I'm talking about like a pill. So if you're prescribed medication every single day,
how many times have I skipped my gout medicine and it's
and it kicks you in the ass when you get a flare up?
I mean, the next morning I wake up and
I know I joke about the gout all the time, but I'm saying, but like it is hard to remember to take a daily pill. And that's what, like my point I made about when I've cold turkey, and I cold turkey purposely when I was young. Because I mean, I've been on medication on and off for so many years. I'm not embarrassed to say it, but I cold turkey on purpose because I was like, I'm young. Abel's knocking shit over.
You don't want that light in your eyes there, dude? Or
But I cold turkey on when I was young because I'm like, fuck this shit. I don't need it because I was an idiot and because I didn't know. And no offense, the Googly wasn't what it was today. So it's not like you can look this up.
You have no idea what you're doing.
And I'm like, who am I? I'm not going to listen to what my mom tells me or what my doctor tells me to do. I'm going to do what I want to do because I thought I was like the smartest person in the room. But you can't tell someone who doesn't have, like, here's the thing is that, okay, sure, we have great insurance where we work. We are fortunate as fuck to have the insurance that we have, but our copay is like $10 for my medication, and it's still a pain in the ass to go to the pharmacy to go grab my medication every month, whatever, to go grab it. Can you imagine being homeless, having nothing, and being concerned about where you're going to sleep, what you're going to eat, and how you're going to get by each day? And you're telling me that their number one concern is about taking their medication? I'm sorry, that's going to be the last thing on their mind. But you're telling me that, we're going to run into these people and we're supposed to help them in some way. What are we going to do with them? And I don't mean that to be like me. We have nothing that we can do for them for the long term. We might have short-term solutions. Short-term.
And that's what's frustrating.
But I'm going to see you again.
Because what else are they going to do?
Right.
And obviously, I mean, that's not a knock on them. Like, we are agreeing. I'm not, But you're right. Like, even if I can get you help at the time being, there's no long-term care. Now, I don't necessarily think that somebody with mental health issues needs to be locked in a padded room all day, every day.
No.
So I guess I don't really know what the solution is, but there has to be some type of long-term care. Obviously, needs to be.
Do you want to hear my conspiracy theory? So, I don't know if this is like going to make full sense, but so they deinstitutionalized the mental health hospitals. Okay, They put everyone on pills. A lot of people, rather than taking their pills because it's cheaper and easier, because most people don't have the medical insurance that we have. I mean, you think about, like, again, I'm not trying to throw my parents on the bus, but I can only use the examples I know. But my dad's retired now, so like
Right.
I know that they pay for, my mom's insurance, and I'm not going to say what the number is, but I know that it is very, 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 very expensive.
It's
astronomical
horrible for people, yeah.
for her to pay for her insurance.
Yeah.
Now, my dad used to have a city job, so they used to have great insurance. They had the same insurance you and I had, so
Yeah.
it was great. I grew up with the same insurance you and I have now. It's astronomical.
Yeah.
So I know insurance is important. So she pays, into it for herself, but it's crazy, and they're fortunate and they're privileged enough to, be able to do that. But a lot of people can't afford that shit. Like, like, it is crazy. So anyways, you want pills. You want to shove pills down everyone's throat. That's all you want to do. Well, most people aren't going to take these pills. Let's be real.
No.
It's not going to happen. Most people aren't going to like the way that they make them feel, or better yet, they're going to expect this pill to be like the magic pill.
Right.
And what they don't realize is that
Still gonna have to do a little bit of legwork.
You're going to have to do a lot of legwork.
Yeah.
Like, my pill that I take is a very, very low level, like low level. Like, it's probably not doing very much for me. Like, I feel like I don't really feel like anything anymore. That's why I want to get off of it. But I have to do the work. I have to do all the work to make sure that I stay good and that I'm healthy, and I do the work. I do all the work for myself to maintain, be healthy, and go on. But most people, and I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else, but I'm saying, like, it's a lot. But I have the opportunity to go grocery shopping for us and get the healthy foods that make me feel good to eat, that allow me to eat as I choose, that allow me to keep on the straight and narrow when it comes to like my eating disorder and all that good stuff. But a lot of people don't have that opportunity. So you put them on the pills. Going back to the conspiracy theory, they're not going to take these pills. It's cheaper and it's easier to go to drugs. Okay, so they're going to go to drugs. Let's just drug everyone up. And I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I guess it's not a conspiracy theory, but like, I feel like we are like this. Our world is like crumbling. Like, the big people up on top, like, they see what's happening, and like there's
Like Brandon.
What? Yeah, FJB. Yeah, let's go, Brandon. But like, you see everything that's going on top, like the pharmaceutical companies, but. Okay, so the pharmaceutical companies are booming when it comes to vaccines, but
Billions.
but
Even before vaccines.
but
I mean, it's
with the
it's
mental
a
health, with like the
trillion-dollar
pills,
business, yes.
but when the pills don't work or people can't afford the pills, they're going to go to street drugs, and so then they're going to use the street drugs, and people are dying from the street drugs. People don't like to talk about drugs anymore because it's not the hot topic anymore.
Right.
Let's talk about. I'm not even going to name some of the things that we
But
want
guess
to
what?
talk
It's
about.
still there.
It's still
and
there.
it hasn't changed.
It has not
at
changed.
all.
It's gotten worse.
Yes.
It's continued
You just
to get worse.
divert the attention of
Correct.
everybody and let it go.
Correct. And that's why I still get angry about it. It's like, it's still there, but you pretend like it's not there.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not a conspiracy theory, but like, I think they're like creating this issue. It's like they want everyone to be drugged up. So whether it's on pharmaceuticals or street drugs, because I don't know, someone's making money off of like all these. I mean, there's a pipeline of where these drugs are coming from, and they're coming from very fucking.
You mean like illicit drugs or?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking
yeah.
100%.
I mean, some very rich. This isn't coming from like Joe
Look,
Blow.
No.
The wannabe rapper in like the hood.
Yeah, we're not
like,
going to
it's
go
coming
deep
from-
into it, but there's
There's a
yes.
profit in it. So
one fucking 100%.
I mean, like, they all interconnect.
Yes.
And there's so many people, whether people are just hyped up and drugged up on pharmaceuticals, or they're hyped up and drugged up on illicit street drugs. but there's so many people that are drugged up nowadays. It's like we're all in this daze. And I almost feel like maybe this is the conspiracy, is like so many people are in this daze that we're not even seeing like the truth that's like going on. And so we're just kind of like this, like kind of going through like the fog.
Look at the shit that's put into food and, you know what I mean? And medications and supplements and all this stuff. It's because if you're slow, fat, and stupid, excuse me, not trying to be a dick.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you're kind of like,
but you're my
you're
bitch then.
creating this, like, yeah, so I guess it's my conspiracy.
100%.
But look at, have you noticed?
If you're smart, healthy, and can think for yourself, then you're not going to like what's going on.
Have you noticed, I know we talk about like the bread and the pasta stuff and like all that, whatever. And I know we joke about it, whatever, but have you noticed in maybe like the last, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years, and I hate saying the word clean, and I know I've used it before, but like eating less food with like preservatives and just eating more whole foods.
Yeah.
Have you noticed a difference?
Do you remember when we I think we even talked about it on here, when we were coming home from vacation last year and we stopped at McDonald's and I had a couple cheeseburgers.
Right. Like plain ass, like not big or a big.
No. Yeah, they were just
plain,
a little
like
single, like dollar
ass,
fucking.
Plain ass cheeseburgers.
Nothing else was open. It was I thought I was gonna die.
But isn't that crazy? Like how much your body has changed, and just like the feeling that you get just from eating. And again, I don't want to like say healthier, but just eating like whole foods.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you eat that nasty shit every single day,
it drags you down. Like it's sludge in your body.
That's exactly what it is.
It's a drug.
It will literally. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it if you go,
like moderation,
in moderation.
Like you're not eating it.
But the same
as a regular...
bastards that are fucking up our main busy road out of here every day because they're sitting in Dunkin' Donuts for.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Right.
And we're not doing 8-part fucking videos.
But yeah, I mean,
got.
like it's just crazy that I guess it's weird like to call it conspiracy theory, but I just really think that, you pulling that up about the institutionalization. God, that's such a long word. Like, can we like get a hyphenated version of that?
Yeah.
Is the point proven there that you'll close down these facilities? And again, your point of, I don't think people need to be locked in rooms.
No.
I don't think humans deserve to be locked in rooms.
And it's money that I think, if done the right way, could be a very good thing.
So I think that it'd be like long-term care.
But here's the thing. If it doesn't affect you directly, then you don't fucking care.
Correct.
And if you're a politician who's making that decision, you can hide from all that, and it's not going to affect you directly, because you're still going to make very high six figures, and you're not going to have to worry about anything. And you can take that money again and put it elsewhere.
Right. They're not looking out for the greater good of this country. And if you were truly...
Hey, guess what?
What?
The government doesn't give a fuck about you. I don't care if it's local, national. They don't fucking care about you. They don't care.
And it's like, if you're looking out for the greater good of this country, then you would be looking at you gotta, if you're gonna fix the issue. So we still gotta talk about sex trafficking. Like, it's making me like so like mad. Like I reached out to Deliver Fund and was like, we're gonna talk about sex trafficking. Like, I got all their info, so we gotta talk about it. So, but it's like sex trafficking as my like example for this. If you're gonna fix sex trafficking, you can't just keep arresting the girls and calling them prostitutes and arresting. Like, you gotta do the big guy at the top. Like, yeah, it's a little bit. But you got to go to the traffickers. Like, you got to eliminate the traffickers. You can't even do the Johns. You can't even do the guys buying the sex. Like, you have to eliminate the people.
But that's going to cost money, and then we're going to have to put resources into that.
I understand that.
And then we're going to have to...
We're not talking about sex trafficking today. But
I'm
saying,
being sarcastic,
you have to get rid of that. And then when it comes to this mental health, or this problem that we're facing in the U.S. today with, like, I guess everyone kind of... rose-colored glasses. Do you remember that term? Like, everyone's walking around with these rose-colored glasses. If you can get rid of this, or if you're going to fight this battle of, like, the rose-colored glasses, you need to fix the problem at the bottom. Like, you can't keep fixing this problem with, like, we're just going to send people $600 checks and, like, make them happy for a month or whatever. We need to fix whatever that low-level issue is, and my belief is that low-level issue is mental health. And again, it's not that I think everyone has a mental health illness or a mental health problem. I think no one knows how to deal with their mental health. And there is such a theme of victimhood in this country nowadays. Everyone is a goddamn victim. Everyone wants to be a victim. Everyone. And I don't understand. Like I said, I mean, I know if someone is listening to this that knew me 10 years ago, they're like, fuck you, Allison. Like, you used to be like such a bitch about it. Like, you used to say whatever. And I'm sorry. Like, I know I used to be there, but now I'm on the other side of that. And now I'm saying, like, you don't need to be there. Like, why would you want to live your life identifying with something that is so negative? Because guess what? You think you're getting sympathy from people. You're only getting sympathy from people who also think face value and who also think shitty about themselves.
Right.
It's not helping you get any better. No. You know what's going to get you better is moving on with your life and stop identifying with that victimhood mentality of whether you were a alleged victim of something. You know, a lot of these victims that we deal with, they don't even call themselves victims. Like the sexual, or not sexual assault, the sex trafficking girls, they don't call themselves victims. They call themselves survivors. Because they're fucking survivors. They're not victims. They're survivors. They move past that shit. Like, these are some of the strongest girls I know. And they're not fucking victims. They call themselves survivors. They're not going to identify with this victimhood mentality. They're going to be stronger, and they want to be stronger for the next girls to help them get out of it. So why we want to identify with this low, like, woe is me attitude for a time being, sure. You got to get through that hard shit. Like, you got to deal with if you go through something bad, sure. Everyone's going to have that moment of depression or whatever and move. You're going to go through that phase. But to live your life like that, and to want to like kind of find something to like attach to as the victim. That's what I'm talking about. Not someone who is like a sexual assault victim or a assault victim or something. I'm talking about like people who are calling themselves like victims of like society. And you know what I'm talking about? Like they're like picking and choosing things to be victims of. It's like, what are you doing? Yeah. You're creating issues for yourself. Right. That now you're going to have to like overcome down the road. Like, it just makes no sense. I don't know if any of this makes sense. People are listening probably like, turn this shit off, like whatever.
Well, take notes, bitches.
I just, it's so crazy, but it all goes back to the guy with the knife because you're right. No normal person, I shouldn't use the word normal, but no average person that doesn't have reasonable, that's a good word. No reasonable person is going to come at the officers with a knife. They're going to talk to you. Yes. Just talk to you. They might yell. They can yell at us. That's fine. You can yell at me, call me names. You can call me a pig. 100%. You can call me whatever. But you're not going to bring a knife. You know, you're not going to do that.
Yeah, there's obviously...
There's something
is going on. And look, I've seen it hundreds of times, obviously not personally, videos and things of that nature, where you have an individual with a knife who... is standoffish, but they're not confrontational.
Right.
Because they're going through something and they understand that they need help. And you see that officer on the other side while you still may be at gunpoint because that's that's how it needs to go, right? I mean, let's be honest.
Right.
But they've been able to talk them off the ledge, whether that's figuratively or literally. That also happens. Excuse me. So this isn't the only end result all the time.
Right.
But that's how it went in this situation, obviously, because of those actions that individual took. But
I think those officers did fantastic and good on them.
I agree.
And I don't know, we didn't obviously Google like if there's been a resolution to the investigation or anything like that.
Well, when was that? Last month?
Yeah, so I'm sure it's still ongoing.
It's still on, yeah.
So I hope everything comes out good for them. I hope that the Beetlejuice mayor does not speak poorly of them.
Fucking bitch.
Fuck her.
Look, and that's also like it's obviously horrible and tragic that man had to lose his life.
We don't want to have to injure someone or kill someone.
Nobody does.
No one walks into every day when you put on the uniform, you don't want to have to kill someone.
No, but at the same time, you have to be held accountable for your own actions.
Yeah.
And whether that would have been officers or you know, he booted his neighbor's door in and was swinging a knife at them. Same result could have happened. That's on him at that point. I'm sorry. I hate to say that because, again, it's tragic that, you know, that happened. But, again, you go back to the reasonableness.
To protect other people, you know,
100%.
other lives as well.
100%.
I mean, you know,
Yep.
we can't allow him to injure, you know, innocent bystanders, including his girlfriend standing in the room, you know. But is there anything else you would like to add to the...
No. That's it.
You ready to go eat a steak dinner?
Yeah, is it still fucking raining? Because I got to go outside and grill.
Oh, your hair's going to get poofy.
Well, that's why I'm wearing a hat.
Why are we talking with an accent?
I don't know. We should start doing our episodes like this from now on. If y'all about it, just let us know and we'll keep going on this.
I kind of like it. You have a better accent than I do.
I know. Mine's authentic.
I'll let you win that one. That's like a real hillbilly accent.
All right, fuck these people. They're not even
Oh
listening
my
anymore. Let's
God!
get
Why
out of
are you? You gotta be nice to her. Toby, stop licking your hot spot. Stop it.
That's what she...
He gets hot spots on his foot, and then he licks them raw. It's so frustrating.
We need to get out of here.
Okay, I'm a little hungry. My stomach's getting sour from all the red wine. Like, you down this whole bottle. I keep getting Walgreens notifications.
I got shit sitting there.
Okay.
I need my gout medicine.
No one gives a fuck. We're
All right, bitches. Well, I'm out. See ya.
Okay, bye.